So before we begin, I just have a few remarks to frame the year. I thought we should take a moment to share our deep and heartfelt thanks to the folks who not only made this room look beautiful, but who fed us an extraordinary dinner and dessert. So let's please thank them. I think I've eaten better this past week than I have in 40 some odd years. So, sixth formers, welcome to your sixth form year. It is in fact bittersweet for me that this is my first year and your last year at Cbury. It's a little bit sad, but the sweet part of that is we have a chance together to make this year, your sixth form year, an extraordinary year, and we get to do that together as a team. And so while it is bittersweet that I only have you for 1 year, let's seize on the sweet part of that. As seniors, I think you know, we look to you for leadership. By the very fact that you're sixth formers, we look to you for leadership. There's no escaping it, there's no hiding from it, there's no avoiding it. It's part of what goes with being in the sixth form class here at Cbury. But let's also remember that's a privilege, and that goes for all of us in this room. As leaders of this school, faculty, staff, and students, it is a privilege to lead. It is a service to lead. And so we need to embrace what that means and not take it for granted and not assume it and not act as if we're leaders simply because of the place that we found ourselves in. So as we look to you every day to be leaders of this school, of this class, you need to think about a few questions. So first of all, what is the tone that you are going to set as the class of 2017? What is the tone? You don't have to answer, but you need to think about it. You've already been here for at least a day or two, if not for more than a week. You've already started to make a first impression, and I said this to several of you already in small groups. You don't get to take back your first impression. You get one chance. So you have started it tomorrow, first day of classes. It continues next week, first full week of classes, lots going on. This is the time where you solidify the first impression of the class of 2017. You can't go back. You can't wish at Halloween that you had started the year differently. You can't graduate and say, oh my gosh, we had that opportunity in the fall and we didn't seize it. It's this week, it's tomorrow morning, it's how you dress for class, it's how you say hello to the younger kids, it's how you act in school, it's how you lead. So think about it. Don't take it for granted. Don't ignore it. Don't pretend it's not there. But think about the first impression you want to make as the sixth form class, as the leaders of the school. How will you, we're talking about tone, how will you ensure that your class of 2017, is known for loyalty, friendship, integrity, and spirit? You can pick some other words, but those are my four for you. Loyalty, friendship, integrity, and spirit. How will you make sure you're known, this class, when we talk about you and remember you, how will you make sure we do that? And every day, how will you earn the privilege? How will you earn the privilege of leadership? Again, it is not bestowed upon you simply because you are now sixth formers. Every day, just like my role, every day we earn the privilege to lead. When I met with the proctors earlier this week, we were talking about this in different ways, and we came up with a few phrases that I thought would go well for the whole class. So first of all, you will hear Mrs. Stone say norming a lot. In fact, at some point you're going to start making fun of me. But the idea of norming is that you're much more likely to do what your friends do. You're much more likely to rise to the occasion if the culture of this school expects you to rise to the occasion. So even little things like asking someone at this table to shave this evening, even things like that, we're setting expectations around what we do here. And so the norm, what you set, and I know it's really cheesy, but I have heard the phrase sixth form sets the norm. I think it's great. I may overstate it, but that is what I would love you to embrace, even if you think it's a little bit cheesy, which is okay. But you set the norm for the younger kids. They're gonna look to you, and you get to decide if this is a year filled with spirit and loyalty and integrity, or if it's not. I can't make that happen for you. The faculty and staff can't make that happen for you. You get to decide. The other phrase we talked about with the proctors was show up. Pretty simple. Show up. Go to events. Be present. Involve yourself in the weekends. Go to the dorm meetings. Hang out with the kid that looks a little lonely. Show up. Be there. Be present. We're asking this of our colleagues as well. Be here. We've chosen to be here, so show up. If you can't go to the whole game, go to part of it. If you've got a lot of homework, take a 10-minute break and go to the scrimmage. Be around. Join the trips. Show up. So I ask all of us this year to show up. Now, by doing those two things, setting the norm and showing up, this phrase, we lean into the year. We collectively decide that this is the year that we're going to take care of, that we're going to inspire each other, that we're going to get through the tough times, those weeks where you feel like you have so much homework and 10 applications and not enough sleep. I was there a long time ago, but I was there. I know. They're hard weeks, October in particular. You got to lean in. You got to lean on each other. You got to do this together. Otherwise, we get fragmented and we get a little bit distance from each other in a way that does not represent the school and what the reasons are that we've chosen to be here. So show up, set the norm, and lean into the year. I want you to know that I'm very grateful that in my first year, I get to partner with all of you. It's extraordinary that this class is the class. My table, this lovely table that sat with me and Mr. Stone this evening, they said, we're your first senior class. You are. You're my first senior class. You will always be. That will never change. And for that, I am very lucky and fortunate and also very grateful. On that note, we have more than 50 members of this class who are four-year members of the class, and we call you diehards. And I would love for you to stand this evening and be recognized, please. Okay, so are we ready to have a year where we set the norm and show up and lean into the year? Yes, Mrs. Stone. Yes, we're ready. Okay, I am ready as well. So I am told the way we end this dinner is part of a tradition where the first evening, the sixth form dinner, the faculty will line up around this room and we will shake hands with each of you. And we do this again at the end of the year at graduation to sort of bookend the year and to establish or continue to establish a tradition that has been here as long as I believe anyone can remember. I would love for each of you, as you shake each and every faculty member's hands, to say your name, even if you know for sure that they know your name. We've got a lot of new faculty this year. We've got folks like me who've asked you 16 times and are still struggling. We're going to get there, but please, let's shake hands. Let's look each other in the eye, and let's, in doing so, commit to having a year that I am confident, I'm not just hopeful, I am confident is going to be a truly wonderful year for the class of 2017, particularly with your leadership.